Hi there, students. Here we have an essay for the CPE at level C2. Okay, this is the exercise with two texts and you need to compare them. Read the two texts below. Write an essay summarizing and evaluating the key points from both texts. Use your own words throughout as far as possible and include your own ideas in your answers. Write your answer in 240 to 280 words. I think I've checked it. I think it's about 300 you've written, but that's okay. So, reading habits. For many young adults, embarking on their university or college courses, reading can stop being fun and become a chore. Faced with piles of compulsory reading, it is no surprise that it loses its appeal. It is such a pity because when they were children, reading was an enormous source of pleasure, stimulating their imaginations and widening their horizons. Science fiction novels could open up the possibility of a future as a brilliant scientist, adventure stories of a dreamed of life as an intrepid explorer. Children's choice of books often reveal their developing personalities. Reading aloud. Much of the pleasure of reading lies in sharing your reactions with others. I personally believe that reading aloud is a perfect pastime for all ages, whether it be to a child at bedtime or an overworked and stressed adult. Listening to the written word on the radio or as a member of a book group in the company of others and discussing what you have heard is a rewarding and exhilarating experience. It allows individuals to find meaning together and to make connections and uncover memories. To put it briefly, it makes the world a better place. And here's your answer. For many people, reading is an absorbing activity which provides them with an opportunity to dive into fantastic worlds or historic epochs. So, firstly, epochs without the E, epochs. Historic's the wrong word. Historic is something that is important, I would say, or historical. Something that is historic is something that will go down in history. I guess it could be historic epochs as well, but you're talking about time. A historic event. The Britain leaving the EU was a historic event. Important, something that will go down in history. I've got a video about historic and historical. The well-written book can give food for thought and become an object of hot discussions. Okay, I guess you could say the well-written book. I think I would probably prefer a well-written book, but the certainly works. It's not wrong. Can give food for thought and become an object of, so not hot, heated discussions. However, even those who are keen on reading may be repelled from doing so by tons of mandatory reads. Okay, so however, even those, I would probably go among us, who are keen on reading may be repelled by doing so by tons too informal, by masses, by a glut by masses of mandatory reads. You could use reads, and I know you're trying to avoid reading. Mandatory reads. Mandatory. Let's try literature. Mandatory literature. This essay will shed some light on the ever relevant topic of reading. Okay, that's a pretty good first paragraph. Well done. It's not bad. You've got a couple of little problems, a couple of little mistakes, but there's nothing serious. It reads very nicely. It holds together well. The first text tells us the sad truth about people who are likely to lose interest in reading as it has become part of their daily grind at work. I like this daily grind. It tells us a sad truth about people who are likely. So let's add something to spice that up. Who are very likely to lose all, there's okay, interest in reading as it has become a tedious part of their daily grind at work. Okay, all of these are just little additions. They're not necessary, and there's no mistake there. In their childhood, people, I would probably make it plural, in their childhoods, they read largely for their own amusement, and therefore it was their inner interest and motivation that led them, unlike what they have to do as employees. They read largely for their own amusement. They'll lose that comma, and therefore it was their inner interest and motivation. It was okay, and therefore it was their inner interest, their personal interest and motivation. It was their personal interest and motivation that led them, that drove them. That drove them. Unlike what they have to do as employees. Drove them. So, which is the complete opposite of what they have to do as employees. However, the odds are high that this habit helped them to reveal some traits and strengthen their proclivities, as there is an abundance of evidence proving this phenomenon. Let's see. Stimulating imaginations, widening their horizons. Yeah, I see your problem. You're a bit short. You're a bit short here. Let's see. And you're going over in words as well. However, the odds are high that this habit, so uncovered personal traits and strengthened their and strengthened pre-existing or pre-existing, pre-programmed, predetermined, and strengthened their proclivities. Strengthen their proclivities. As there is an abundance of evidence proving this phenomenon. Okay, this bit, it's not so well linked, but it's okay. First paragraph was really good. This one, I would say, is okay. The author of the second passage highlights the importance of reading as a social construct. That's a lovely sentence. In his opinion, the benefit of reading out loud can accrue to anyone, be it a toddler or an elderly person. Listening to others read in a group can be a great start, a great starter, for a lively discussion, which might help broaden horizons and widen one's list of contacts. For instance, in groups consisting of people of different ages, older generations have an opportunity to pass their knowledge down to younger ones, to youngsters. To conclude, reading has been a favourite pastime of many people. You don't need it. Through the ages, has been a favourite pastime through the ages. Not only is it good and inversion, an exhaustible source of information and inspiration, but also a gate to other dimensions otherwise unreachable. Good. What is perhaps more important nowadays in this era of atomization of society is that it provides people with social benefits as they can build their interactions around this activity. I'm not quite sure what you mean by atomization. I think you're probably talking about the separation of people and the splitting apart of society. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to change it because I think it's okay. So the original was 304 words. I've probably gone longer. Let's see. But let's see how many we got this time. Whoops, not that. 309. Okay, so 309. Both of us have gone over just a little bit, but not too much. So let's see. Let's mark. Have you completed the task? Content. You completed the task. Okay. I think a little. You were a little bit pushed to explain some of this last part of the first one. You haven't included anything irrelevant. I think you've just been pushed for words to get it in. Task achievement 3. Communicative achievement. The writing is appropriate for the task. Yes, I think this is well written. The writing is very appropriate for the task. You've used the right style and register. This time, I feel you've got the style and register spot on, which is very, very good. And yes, it holds the reader's attention quite well. 3, 4, 3, 4, 4. 4 out of 5. Organization. The writing is coherently organized. Yes, particularly this first paragraph. The second one, this bit at the end, I suppose, you're trying to use cohesive devices and hold the thing together. I think probably 3. And then language. There's a good range of language and vocabulary and grammar. So vocabulary, there's a very good range of vocabulary. I really like it. And it's used quite accurately. You've used longer sentences. I would like to have seen a semicolon somewhere. It's just something nice to put in. There are 1 or 2 very small mistakes, but it's not problematic. Language 3, 4, 3, 4. I think probably 3.5. 3. Okay. I think, what am I going to give it overall? C plus, B minus, something like that. Overall 6.5 out of 10, 6.5, something like that as a total. So it's quite good. It's not bad. Well done. You should be quite pleased with this. This is definitely on the better side of your work. Well done. So anyway, enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Okay, compare 2 texts about reading and reading habits.